It was September 8, 1941, when the city of Leningrad, now known as St. Petersburg was sealed off by German and Finnish forces, marking the beginning of one of the longest and most harrowing sieges in history. For 872 days, the people of Leningrad would endure unimaginable hardships as the city, its population, and its defenders fought against starvation, freezing temperatures, and relentless bombardment. This is their story, a tale of survival, resilience, and sacrifice. As the German Wehrmacht advanced rapidly through the Soviet Union in the summer of 1941, their goal was clear: to capture Leningrad, a vital industrial hub and symbol of Soviet power. The city's defense, however, was nothing short of heroic. Citizens and soldiers alike worked feverishly to build fortifications, digging trenches and laying barbed wire. Every able-bodied person was mobilized. Despite their efforts, the enemy surrounded the city, cutting off all supply routes by land. By the winter of 1941, the situation in Leningrad had grown desperate. The city was completely encircled, and the only lifeline was Lake Ladoga, through which a perilous supply route known as the Road of Life was established. Over the frozen lake, convoys of trucks and sleds carried food and supplies, but these journeys were treacherous. Enemy aircraft strafed the convoys, and the ice beneath them was thin, often breaking under the weight. Inside the city, the people of Leningrad faced starvation. Bread rations were cut to as low as 125 grams per day, barely enough to survive. Many turned to desperate measures: boiling wallpaper paste, leather belts, and even sawdust to stave off hunger. Despite this, the spirit of the city's defenders remained unbroken. Factories continued to produce weapons, and even art and culture persisted. Musicians performed symphonies in bombed-out concert halls, defying the siege with creativity and courage. The winter brought another enemy: the cold. Temperatures plunged to -30 degrees Celsius. With no fuel for heating, residents huddled together in freezing apartments. The dead lay unburied in the streets, as survivors were too weak to bury their loved ones. Disease and famine took their toll, and the population dwindled. Yet even in these darkest moments, there was no thought of surrender. The turning point came in early 1943, when Soviet forces began breaking through the German lines surrounding the city. The Road of Life became more reliable, and supplies began to reach Leningrad more regularly. But it wasn't until January 27, 1944, nearly 2.5 years after the siege had begun, that the blockade was fully lifted. The German forces were finally pushed back, and Leningrad was free. The cost of the siege was staggering. Over 1 million civilians died, most from starvation and cold, making it one of the deadliest sieges in history. Yet through it all, the people of Leningrad never gave up. Their endurance and spirit became a symbol of Soviet resistance against the Nazi onslaught. The Siege of Leningrad remains a testament to human resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity, a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope and determination can endure. Today, the city stands as a living monument to those who lived, fought, and died during the siege. Their sacrifice ensured that Leningrad would never fall, and their story will forever be etched in history as a tale of unimaginable suffering, but also of indomitable strength.